Hi, welcome to Denelli's Chic Handmade, and today we're going to be making the ruffle scarf with the Addi Express. Here's a couple of different options that I've used. This one was made with the scarfy yarn. These two, both have been used with the scarfy yarn. This one here was made with the red heart gemstone yarn. And today we're going to be using the James C. Brett Marble Chunky. This is a great yarn. I love it. I love the variations that you get with it. So we'll be using this yarn today. And I'll be using my size H 5mm crochet hook. I'm going to go ahead and set up my machine and I'll be back. So for this pattern, we're going to be using waste yarn. So I'm going to go ahead and cast on my waste yarn on my Addi Express. And I'm going to do 5 rows of waste yarn. And the first couple of rows are always a little bit tight, and then it smooths itself out. So 5 rows of waste yarn, and the waste yarn is good so that you could see the edge because we'll be adding crochet. And this is my 5 rows. And now I'm going to go ahead and set up my yarn. And I'm going to use the top part of the yarn because it is a little bit of a chunkier yarn. I'm going to release some of this so that we'll be able to close off the ends. I'm going to release probably like a couple, maybe 3 yards. Just enough so I think I could be able to close off the end. And I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to put my counter on 0 and slowly start feeding the yarn into the machine. And the first couple of rows are always a little bit tight and you want to make sure you watch it. So now we're going to continue on like this for 80 rows and I will be back when we get closer to row 80. Thanks. We are now getting to the end of getting closer to row 80. I'm at 78. This will be 79. And now we're on 80. I'm going to go ahead and open up my guide, tuck my yarn here behind my needle, get it out of the way. I'm going to do about 7 or 8 rows of waste yarn. I always like to do a little bit more at the end because I don't like it to unravel when I'm taking it off the machine. So again, this is my waste yarn. Now what you're gonna love about these scarves, they're made for, like, you put it under a jacket or a coat so that you can just see the ruffle peeking out from your coat. And I really like it when I add the different embellishments. I've used like rhinestone buttons and I like to use really large buttons to really give it that nice, unique look. And we're just gonna do 2 more rows and then we're gonna be taking it off the machine. And this will be the end. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my yarn. And then I'm just going to go ahead and spin it until it, until it comes out. And as you can see, now all the stitches start to drop. And I like to make sure that they're all coming off. And here we go. Nice and gentle. And then this, you can see, will be the center part of the scarf. And I'm going to go ahead and put my machine away and get ready for the crochet portion. Thanks. So just to give you a visual of what we're looking at. So this is the part we just completed on the Addi Express. This is actually a completed scarf. So when you open it up, you can see how where we're coming from. So this is the center part of the scarf, and we're going to go ahead and add the ruffle and the crochet and the buttonhole opening. And that's it. We're just gonna go ahead and get started. So on the end where we put the 5 rows of waste yarn, where this is where I had my long tail, I'm gonna go ahead and close this up, this end with a single crochet. So where this is coming out of, this loop, I'll go ahead and grab this loop, and then where I pick it up from this end here, we're gonna go ahead then and do single crochets. This is a chain 1. Pick up the next loop and the one across from it. We'll do a single crochet. The next loop, pick up this one here on the opposite end, single crochet loop. Again. And what we're doing is we're crocheting along the edge. We're closing up the tube. Again, single crochet. Single crochet loop, and this is so nothing will unravel. I'm going to turn it into a flat tube, single crochet loop, again here, and you should have 2 at the end. If you don't have 2, sometimes you have to start over because you might have missed a loop. Okay, make this loop nice and big. Now sometimes I'll put a stitch marker so it doesn't come unraveled. I'm going to remove my waste yarn. Now some people cut it off. I like to just kind of undo the first row so that it'll just come undone. And you can see I can just pull it, go around, and again pull. I'm almost to the other end so that it'll easily come off. And here we go. Now I can just gently pull this off. Make sure it doesn't take out my other one. And here we go. Just remove the waste yarn. And you can see I closed up the end. It's nice and flat. Just gonna go ahead and cut this part because I'm not gonna need a long tail here. I'm just gonna cinch this up here. Now we'll just go to the opposite end and do the same thing. But we're not gonna cut the yarn after we join because we're gonna use that for the ruffle. In this side, you want to be careful. This is where we had 8 rows of waste yarn. This one will unravel by itself very easily, so you don't want to pull it too much. So again, where the red is coming out, you're going to put your hook here, and you're going to put on the opposite loop. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and then we're going to go ahead and grab each loop on each side to do our single crochets. All the way to the end. And I'm fighting with my yarn a little bit. It's getting stuck. There we go. And go ahead and single crochet. Again, we're closing up the tube so that we can add the ruffle part of the scarf. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take out the waste yarn. As you can see, I can just pull it because this one is not cinched up anywhere. And I'll be back to show you how to do the edging. Now we're going to start working on the first row of the edging. As you can see, we have a flat tube. This end we don't need because we're just going to go over that. And then this part here, this is where we ended off. I had removed the waste yarn. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we will crochet along a straight edge of the side of the tube. So here at the end, I'm going to do 3 single crochets on the corner to start rounding it out. Actually, we'll do 2. It looks nicer with 2. We're going to skip this loop here and we're going to single crochet in the next one. We're going to skip this loop here, and we're going to single crochet in the next one. Skip this, single crochet in the next one, and we're going to do that all the way to the end of this row. So again, skip this one and crochet here, single crochet. Skip the next one to the end, and I'll meet you when we get to the end. Now I just did my single crochet row on the one end, and I'm down at close to the corner. I'm going to do my single crochet here. Now I'm going to start turning it over on the other side and do 1, 2 single crochets. Then single crochet all along the end. 1, and go all the way to the corner. And here in the corner, we'll do 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Now we'll just flip it over to the other side. And we're going to skip 1, and we're going to do a single crochet on this side. And the next one, skip 1, single crochet in the next one. Skip 1, single crochet in the next one. And we're going to do this all the way to the end. And I'll meet you when we get to the end. And now we're at the end. I'm going to go ahead and do single crochet, and then do 2 single crochets here, 1, 2, and then I'm going to single crochet all the way across the other edge. And this will be our first row of single crochet around the entire tube made on the Addi Express. And I'm going to lay it flat so you can see how it looks so far. And I'm going to slip stitch to join. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape. It looks really neat. Now we're going to go ahead and do the second row after the join. And this row is actually where you're going to add the buttonhole at the other end. So we're going to go ahead and chain 2, half double crochet in the same stitch, and then 2 half double crochets all the way around in each stitch, except for when we get to the end. Actually, the buttonhole is going to go here. So once we get all the way around, I'll meet you right before this, and we'll go over how we make the buttonhole. Now we're at the end of the 2 half double crochets. This is where we're going to make our buttonhole. So one of the things I like to do is I like to fold it over to see where my center point is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 half double crochets, and then 2 half double crochets here, then fold it over, see if we're at a good center point, and I think that's it. Then I'm going to do 1 half double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, 1 half double crochet, and then 2 half double crochet till we get to the end. And we're almost at the end. And then I'm going to slip stitch in the first, chain 2, and you can see our buttonhole here. Now we're going to go ahead and do the third round. We're going to do 1, 2, chain 2. Then we're going to put a double crochet in the same stitch. And we're going to do 2 double crochets all the way around. And I will meet you when we get closer to the other end. Now we're at the end of the double crochet row, getting close over the buttonhole. I'm going to go ahead and 2 double crochets. Continue on with the 2 double crochets in each stitch. I'm going to do 2 double crochets here, and then another one here, and then 2 here. Now sometimes it's a little bit tricky, but just go ahead and kind of push it through. And again, 2 double crochets in each one. And then continue on until you get to the end. And I really like these scarves. They look great, like I said, under a jacket or a coat with the ruffle showing at the top. And the way you can embellish them, you can put some really pretty buttons on them. And I'm just going to continue on until we get to the end here. A few more stitches. Just double crocheting, 2 double crocheting in each stitch. All the way to the end here. And I'm sorry it's taking me just a few minutes to get there. And then I want to start the final row. So once we get to the end here, we're going to go ahead and join to the top of the chain 2. And then for the final row, chain 1, we're just going to single crochet, 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you when we get to the end. So now that we're at the end of our single crochet row, we're going to go ahead and join this. And I'll show you how I like to do my joins so that they're seamless. I take this and I just put it underneath the next single crochet stitch, and I can make it look like it's part of the join so that you can't even tell. See how it's all looks really good? It's continuous. I'm going to go ahead and tuck my string in. Tuck it in so it doesn't come out. And this is the end of our product. This also will be tucked in. This is the ruffled scarf. And here's a couple of options for buttons. You could put a silver button here. This looks really nice. Silver button, and then put the matching yarn through there. Here's also another option for a button. Look how stunning that looks. And that's the end of the video. Next week, I'm going to try to release my scarf with the ruffle join. I think you're really going to like that, and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day.